Hey, what's going on everybody? Jose Hernandez here with Mastering Conversational Chemistry. Today I want to talk to you about the difference between a boss and a leader. You know, we see things on social media portraying how a leader is better than a boss and how bosses are horrible and leaders are amazing. But if we break it down, it really comes down to our communication and how we're communicating with our employees and the things we're telling them or asking them to do. So I've heard people say, my boss sucks, or I have a horrible boss, this is crazy. But I've also heard people say that my boss is an amazing leader. You know, you don't say I have a great leader, it's your boss, it's your management, it's how they communicate with you. So when you break it down and you communicate with your employees, how do you want to be known? Do you want to be known as that horrible boss or my boss sucks, or do you want to be known as my boss is an amazing leader? When I was growing up and I got my very first management position in my early 20s, I remember my dad told me this quote, and I don't know where he read it from or who said it to him or if he just came up with it himself, but he told me that anybody can be a leader, but not everybody knows how. And it comes down to how I communicate. Anybody can give an order, but not everybody knows how. It's the same concept, is how are you explaining things to your employees? So my dad, having his own business at the time and being a boss and a manager, you know, I was listening to him and he told me that don't get stuck on telling people what to do. Get used to asking them things to do. All right, there's a difference. You know, if you're just spitting out orders all day and telling people to do stuff without communicating why they need to do it, they might get a little bit frustrated with you. So get used to asking your employees to do things. You cannot overuse please. You cannot overuse thank you. These are just common courtesies that can go a long way with your employees and when you're communicating with them on a daily basis, right? If you ask your employee to help you with something, you're giving them a sense of leadership because they're helping you do something versus telling them to do something with you. Right, it comes across a little bit differently, and those little subtle changes in your tone and in your speech can come a long way when morale in your employees on a daily basis. So think about that. Anybody can give an order, but not everybody knows how. How are you asking your employees to do things, or how are you telling them to do things? The other example is leaders tend to do things with their employees, while some people say a boss will just tell you what to do. All right, get used to doing the work with them. I have a landscaping business, and I had a customer and I was doing a big sod job and we're changing out a lot of things in the front yard, and one of the neighbors came up to me and says, hey, who's the foreman? And I kind of got up and I said, I'm the owner of the company, how may I help you? And he kind of was blown away because he was saying that as the owner of the company, you're out here throwing grass with your guys. And it kind of set me back a little bit, but I was thinking to myself, I would never ask any of my guys that work with me to do something that I wouldn't do myself. I'm gonna be out there working with them. Sure, I delegate a lot of work and there's times where I'm doing other things and I'm not in the muck, but I would never ask them to do something that I wouldn't do. It comes down to being a good leader, okay? So when I ask my guys to do something with me, it's with me. I work with them. We're gonna do things together. I can't get the job done without them. And that's the message you wanna portray to your employees, that you need them more than they need you, to be honest with you. As a good leader, you need your employees to understand that you realize how important they are to you. So express it to them when you're communicating with them and you're asking them to do things or you're doing things with them. Again, you can never overuse please and you can never overuse thank you. Make sure that your employees feel appreciated when you're communicating with them, because that goes a long way. These people are spending time with you more than they spend it with their own families. How you communicate with them plays a big role in how they feel at their job. So just think about that. The next time you're thinking about going into leadership or management or climbing the corporate ladder, how you communicate is going to tell or set the kind of path for you on how well you're going to advance in your career. So when you communicate with your employees, ask them to do things. Don't tell them what to do. Ask them to do things with you. If they need to do something, if you need them to do something for you, ask them, explain to them what they need. And again, please help me out with this. Thank you for what you're doing for me. All right, guys, that's what it comes down to. So that is your tips for today when it comes to communicating as a boss or a leader. Try to go more towards the leader side. It's the style of management. Communicate effectively with your employees and you'll get more things done. The morale will be better and the environment will be a much happier place to be in. All right, guys, so make sure that you learn how to give an order and that you're just not speeding them out. All right, guys, that's your tip for today. Do me a favor, comment on the video, like it, share it, tell your friends about it. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.